Hi, this is Matt with LSAT Cracked. In this lesson, we're going to go over an extremely important concept, which is the imperfection or the unreliability of trying to base a really strong conclusion on a study or a survey that might not have been perfectly conducted to support the claim being made in the conclusion. The good news is there is a three-part checklist that's going to cover the significant bulk of the things they test you on for the LSAT. Here are the three things to look at. You want to ask, is the sample an adequate and representative sample? Meaning the people we surveyed or studied, do they adequately represent the object class that we're talking about in the conclusion? 2, was the question biased in some manner? Was it actually an objective, neutral question that really let someone express what they actually thought, or did it steer them in one direction? Number 3, did the person lie, misremember, or somehow else fail to truly tell us what they actually thought? Let's do a quick example to illustrate these concepts. Suppose I go to a coffee shop in Springville, okay? Local, trendy, hipster coffee shop in Springville. And it's 3 o'clock on a Friday, and the first 5 people I come across walking in through the door, I ask them, what do you think is a higher political issue, higher priority? Saving the environment and the beautiful biodiversity that makes the earth a wonderful place to preserve for us, our children, and our grandchildren, or lining the pockets of evil billionaires who run polluting coal factories? All 5 people, remember I interviewed 5 people, all 5 of them say, I think the environment is a more important political issue. I then take that information, that premise, and I arrive at a conclusion that says, therefore, most, or maybe even if I'm feeling really saucy, all Americans prioritize the environment or environmental protection over economic growth. Let's use our checklist to examine all of the flaws in that argument. Number 1, the sample. First things first, 5 people, there's a sample size issue. There's no exact number they expect you to know. This is not a stats class, but everyone's expected to know that interviewing 5 people cannot possibly cover the entire distribution of range of opinions for Americans. It's not an adequate sample size. Even if it were an adequate size, though, it's non-representative, or maybe non-representative. What does that mean? Well, we're trying to make the object class in our conclusion be all Americans. So we want an object class where all of Americans are randomly sampled. Like we called up 1,500 Americans and they were all equally likely to answer the phone and all that good stuff. We might start approaching what would be known as a random sampling of America. The first 5 people at a Friday, 3 p.m., hipster, probably liberal coffee shop, definitely not a random collection of Americans. That's the first flaw. The second flaw is people may have found the question biased, just a touch, right? I did not present a neutral account of the 2 choices, the environment versus business or versus economic growth. I caricature good version of the environment and a caricature bad version of economic growth. That's going to induce some people to answer the environment at a higher frequency than they otherwise might. Third, people might lie. They might want to look good in front of their friends or in front of me, the person doing the survey. Or they might want to almost even lie to themselves on some level. The point is, what they say to the survey taker is not necessarily the thing they believe in their heart or the thing they will express at a voting booth. So depending on exactly what the conclusion is, take a critical eye to thinking, well, just because the person said X or claims to have remembered X, is that absolutely meaning that that person will actually do that thing in real life or it actually happened in the past? So to recap, the 3 flaws. Is the sample adequate? Is it a representative sample? 2, was the question biased? 3, did someone lie or otherwise misremember? You keep those 3 things in mind and you're going to improve on questions that involve either studies or surveys.